Hey everyone, Siam here. So today I'm going to simply talk about these two things. A simple reason or a case why I believe $50,000 Bitcoin in a relatively short period of time is a no-brainer, to be honest. And also why I'm still looking for another Bitcoin crash in the short term as well. Right, let's minimize my ugly mug and move over to this. So a while ago I created a little triangle, like an equation triangle, to help understand how to work out anything from market cap to the price or circulating supply of something, and I call it more patience Kryptonians. And basically, as you can see, the top part is market cap, the price, P is price, and C is circulating supply of whatever asset you're looking at. And so if you ever wanted to play or try and figure out or forecast certain things, all you needed to do is, cover one up. So for example, if you wanted to find out what the market cap of something is, you simply look at the price, times it by the circulating supply. That simple as that. Or if you wanted to find out the price of something, you look at the market cap and you divide it by circulating supply. So nice and simple. So we will use this for Bitcoin. Okay, so we're going to look at price, and so in order to come up with a potential price, we're going to look at the market cap and divide that by the circulating supply. However, these two things are fuzzy variables. So first of all, let's look at the market cap. Now, it's interesting. So let's zoom in a little bit here. So as I write this, the total market cap for Bitcoin is $0.18 trillion in market cap. If you go to coinmarketcap.com, you'll see a Bitcoin here, market cap 178 billion. So yeah, just under 0.18 trillion. So we're not far off there. Obviously that's going to fluctuate. But you have to have a look at, or you have to answer the question, how much money is going to flow into Bitcoin over the next couple of years? So when you look at the total addressable market, the TAM, a good thing to start off with is this Credit Suisse Global Wealth Report. So this is 2019. If you look at this, I'll put this in the links below this video. But this is a PDF which has literally endless pages of really cool stats. But the things which I think are applicable to us in this particular question is this down here. So if we zoom in, so instead of moving it, so as of 2019, now obviously this will be slightly different post-COVID, but basically, yeah, this is all we can work to. So we've got roughly 2,100 billionaires, which totals $8 trillion, 46.8 million millionaires, and that's the real bulk of this wealth here. We then have 500 million almost people that are worth between 100 grand to a million, and then 1.6 billion people that are worth between 10 to 100k, as in dollars. And so when you add all of this up, this totals $354.2 trillion, which is just insane. And I'm obviously going out on a limb here, and I'd say that anyone that is investing or having a punt with Bitcoin or cryptos will fall into this category. Obviously, I haven't included the $0 to $10,000 lot. Obviously, yeah, people in that category will be playing with Bitcoin, but it'll be, I guess, an insignificant amount, despite there's roughly 2 billion people in that category. So let's just be conservative and use $354.2 trillion, which is just insane. So now we have to assume that, let's just say 50% of these people want cryptos, okay? Because even if it goes, like with anything, even a popular market, you don't have 100% of anyone doing anything. So let's say it's 50% of these people over the next few years want some CFX, so cryptocurrency exposure. So that's $177.1 trillion worth of eyeballs or people looking at crypto, okay? So that's an eye-watering amount. Honestly, it's ridiculous. So assuming that these people just put 1% of their wealth in into cryptos. That's 1.77 trillion. Now, if you ask any person on the street, regardless how wealthy they are, and said, hey, here's a punt of an investment, it can either go to zero or it could either go to shitloads, how much of your wealth would you be prepared to put in on it? Most people would say anywhere, I guess, from 1 to 5%. I mean, hell, a lot of people spend probably 5% of their liquid net worth on a night out if they go out, clubbing, partying, whatever. So I think 1% is a fair amount. And also, when you look at a lot of family offices and funds and whatnot, they will always have an ultra high risk portion of their portfolio, as it's a bit of a hedge, bit of a punt. And 1% is, some put more than 1%, but let's just be conservative, use 1%. So that's $1.77 trillion that could potentially flow into Bitcoin over the next couple of years. Now, it's not just that though. So one of the things, so assuming 50% of this lot here goes into Bitcoin. Now remember, I hate the market how they use the word dominance. It's not dominance, it's market share. It's ridiculous. But as we can see here, Bitcoin from 2013 was around 90%, 95% market share of the whole crypto market. Then it plunged, now it's retained. So right now, as I'm chatting, it's 64% market share. So let's just say of all of that money flowing, so the $1.77 trillion, of all of that flowing into crypto, let's assume 50% of it goes into Bitcoin. So that's $0.885 trillion, okay? So it doesn't sound too exciting yet, but here's the thing which a lot of people are completely oblivious about, and it's the multiplier. So when you're looking at CoinMarketCap and you're looking at this top figure here, so what is the market cap? It's $275 billion. There is not $275 billion of hard cash or capital in cryptos. There's a thing called a multiplier. So basically, it's roughly 20 times. So if we were to divide that by 20, so what is that? 275 billion, divide that by 10 times 2. So what it's basically saying is that there's actually only $55 billion of hard cash in in cryptos. So it's it's a tricky one to explain. I've explained it in other videos, but a really quick way to sort of understand that is look at all the people that mined Bitcoin in the early years, or people that bought into Bitcoin sub $100. Okay, so they put $100 into Bitcoin and they got a Bitcoin, let's say. Time goes on, and now the Bitcoin sat at, call it $10,000. So where is that extra $9,900 of extra value come from? Obviously, it's coming from all of the other capital inflows, but also there are lots. There's an increasing amount of derivatives in this market. We now have options trading. We'll have futures. We have all sorts of derivatives. So that enhances that multiplier. So instead of using 20, let's just use 10. Let's say I'm 100% out and it's reduced and it's now a 10x multiplier. So what this effectively means is that $0.885 trillion is 10x, and that turns into $8.85 trillion going into Bitcoin. And when you add the existing 0.18 trillion, it's 9.03 trillion. So let's just round it down and call it $9 trillion going into Bitcoin over the next few years. So this brings us back to our equation triangle. So now we have a rough market cap going into Bitcoin over, let's just say, over the next 5 years. Hell. So we are going to put in blue $9 trillion, which is just an insane amount. To give you perspective, the whole of the global gold market is between $7 to $9 trillion. It's probably more like $9 trillion these days. So and then to put that into higher perspective, if you look at, it's not that much, $9 trillion, because when you look at stocks are roughly $80 trillion, global bond market is $100 trillion, and the global currency market is $1.4 quadrillion. So $9 trillion is not like going out on a limb going, oh look, it's a very small amount. As I said, it's 1% of global wealth effectively going into cryptos, and 50% of that going to Bitcoin. So now, if we're still looking for the price, right? We're trying to come up with some sort of rough yardstick. So we now need to look at the circulating supply. Now, it's not as simple as going to CoinMarketCap. Let's just let's go back to cryptos. And it's not as simple as going, oh, Bitcoin, circulating supply, 8.398 million Bitcoin in circulation. Because there's a lot of Bitcoin that has been lost, that's stored, that just will never be moved. So yeah, just how many Bitcoin are available. So as of June 2020, there's 18.398 million Bitcoin around there. But not all of that is circulating. So first of all, you've got the million Bitcoin that Satoshi Nakamoto stored and locked away that hasn't been moved. You have all of the big whales that have locked up stuff. You have all of the big, or when I say whales, you also look at miners and exchanges. They've all locked up crypto, which doesn't circulate. And so if you just go to Google and type in how many Bitcoins have been lost or used up, etc., there's all sorts of articles. And it ranges. So there's some articles that say 20% of all existing Bitcoin is lost. Okay, so let's just work that out. What was the number? 18.398 million. 18.398 times 20%. So according to that would mean there's 3.67 million Bitcoin that have been lost. I mean, I've lost about 10, maybe 20 Bitcoin in the past when I first got into cryptos a long time ago. So yeah, that doesn't seem that much to me. I've always said roughly 4 million have been lost. So yeah, that's one article. And then there's a really good one by blockgeeks.com. And it wasn't written that long ago. So yeah, this 12th of February 2020. And so long story short, you can have a look at that article. What it says is basically, if we can find it here, sorry, it's up here. Yeah, so about 8 million in total. So what this article is saying, that there's roughly only 8. So when you add up all the loss, the stuff which is stored and not moving, hasn't moved in the last 2 to 5 years, etc., there's only 8 million circulating around. So obviously, let's take that with a pinch of salt. Let's just say there's 10 million in circulation, because don't forget, banks are also starting to hoard. So if there's 10 million in circulation, where does this lead us back to? It leads us back to here. So what we then do is then we put in 10 million in circulation, and then you just do simple maths. So you type into your calculator, let's just do it on here. So 9 trillion. So the 9 billion, 90 billion, 900 billion, 9 trillion. Then you divide that by 10 million. 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 million. That equals 900,000. So what this is basically saying is that using all of these pessimistic or conservative stats, it's saying that a single Bitcoin will rally to $900,000. Okay, now this seems absurd to a lot of people. A lot of people are probably switching the video off right now, going, "This guy's an absolute idiot." Yeah, but obviously we've had a lot of variables here. So first of all, we've had we've basically had to put our finger in the air and go, there's all sorts of estimates. So let's just say I have been too generous to these stats. Let's just say instead of global wealth so if 1% of global wealth gets into crypto and 50% of that money goes into Bitcoin, what this is basically saying is that a Bitcoin will go to 900k. Well, let's say I'm 100% wrong. Let's say only 0.5% of all of this goes into Bitcoin. Well, okay, we've got $450,000. And I think that's pretty. I mean, it's fair to say that at least 0.5% of someone's wealth will go into a punt like this. The market share, I think that's pretty fair as well. Ether and Bitcoin are going to be strong moving forwards. So then, yeah, 450. But then, yeah, so and obviously the circulating supply is not going to grow that much. Obviously we've had the halving now, so only 12.5 Bitcoin per block are released, and so these are when I'm just crunching numbers, these are the numbers I come to. So when I go back to the title of this, whoops, let's zoom out here, I'm running away. When I say a simple reason for $50,000 Bitcoin, I am massively underestimating and being super pessimistic when it comes to this. Now there's lots of things which, like for example, I'm not saying it's just going to do that. I don't. I see all sorts of shenanigans happening here, and I fully expect, you know, Bitcoin eventually to hitting $100,000 and then smashing back down to 20,000. We've always since 2010 we've always had these big old crashes where the market's crashed 80% or more, and then it's just continued to do this, but then it does this again. So it's going to be, yeah. So if you are going to play with Bitcoin, Ether, or any cryptos, it's a long-term buy and hold, or at least medium-term buy and hold. So in fact, it's 18 minutes already. What I'll do is I'll split this up into 2 parts. I thought I'd get through this a lot quicker. And the next video, I will then talk about why I'm still looking at another crash, because one thing, what if I'm wildly wrong? So I guess this is where that bit comes in. So yeah, let's wait. In the next video, I'll talk about the crash and why. Hope that helps. I'll see you soon. Bye.